I'm getting ready to go to a handstand class. I honestly don't know what's going on. I've never seen it like that. An additional layer of motivation that I want to add. I'm gonna start the preparations today and tomorrow. I think it's gonna be a shit show. You can't miss this entertainment. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. It's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm not doing another challenge. Not really in a way that I did it before. I am going to do a challenge. I don't know how else to call it. That's why I'm calling it a summer challenge, but it's not going to be done in the same way that I did 66 Transform. I still, as of today, have about roughly 20 kilograms that I want to see gone. So what I am going to do next is I'm going to do this, like I said, summer challenge. And I am going to set a goal for myself to lose 10 kilograms. And I'm going to give myself a deadline by the end of August. I would like to see that happen. So I would like to lose 10 kilograms in 3 months, which should be plenty. But we will see, because I am going to calculate and do the whole calories side of it a little bit later in the video. I want to figure out obviously how much deficit I have to eat to reach that goal by the end of August. So I will have a better idea of whether that's realistic or not and how tough it's going to be in practice. In my mind, I think that that's very doable, but just to compare and to put it into perspective, it took me 7 months to lose my first 10 kg. I took a rather relaxed approach with my weight loss so far, which I think was a very good decision. And like I told myself in the beginning of 66 Transform, that very first time that I did it, it took me a long time to gain all of this weight. So I'm okay with waiting as long as I need to wait for all of this weight to come off. And I still obviously stand by this 100%. I just felt like, because it's summer, it's a whole new environment now that I moved countries again. I'm settled in. I feel mostly comfortable where I am in my life right now. I could give it a try. And the worst that could happen is I will not succeed. I will not reach the goal with the deadline that I've set for myself. That's the worst case scenario in this whole experiment. Let's jump into this video though, and I will explain in much more detail exactly what I'm doing and how I'll be doing it. But first, a little life update. I'm getting ready to go to the beach. I have this massive bag and I just want to pack it. I'm taking a book. I'm gonna read there, hopefully. The sun is shining. It's a good day. Hopefully it's not too cold outside. I bought a thing. I haven't been to the beach yet. I've just been shopping around for this and then adapter, but I'm going to unpack this quickly and then make my way to the beach. So a month ago, I moved back to Ireland after traveling for about 3 years. First, I was in the Middle East, and then I stayed in Lithuania for about 10.5 months, which wasn't planned. None of it was planned, but that's how it happened. And if you've ever moved countries, you know how overwhelming this whole process can easily become. For me, I moved my entire life twice in the last year. So when I moved from the Middle East to Lithuania, and then from Lithuania back to Ireland. Hi, I'm almost at the beach. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is partly why I came back here. This is a big part of nature and beauty. No people. All right, so the plan is take off my shoes, blanket, a book, and just sit here and enjoy, I don't know, like half an hour, maybe a couple of hours, depending on how quickly I'll want to pee. What is this? It's not a fog. Look at this. Is this like sand? I honestly don't know what's going on. I've never seen it like that ever, so I'm not sure what's happening. There's a weird smell. It's fishy. Welcome to one of my favorite places in Ireland. I spent a lot of time here in the past before I moved, and I'm planning to spend a lot of time here now too, so get cozy, I guess. I'm gonna go do a little sea ASMR for you. Is that soothing? I hope it is. At the same time as I moved back to Ireland, I started a new job. I needed to find a place to live. I needed to pack, unpack, make sure to find a place to store all of my stuff or ship it to myself. And obviously during this time, my weight loss journey had to be put to a pause. I wasn't tracking calories. I didn't have a very strict gym routine. I just went whenever I had the opportunity. So I sort of did my best during that time, and I'm pretty happy actually with how it went. I know that this week is not officially the beginning of my weight loss. How do I call it? I don't want to call it journey, just because I think it's such a overused word to a point where you kind of want to gag when you hear it, just like influencer. I'm still trying to figure out my whole routine, but next week I think is when I'm going to actually start officially. This week actually is the first week where I had some sort of routine, whereas before my routine was all over the place. Here, this week, it wasn't perfect, but at least it was there. There was a routine. Today is Saturday, so really I have only 2 days left. I'm gonna start the preparations today and tomorrow. I need to do a meal prep for next week, and we're going to get back on track. I'm in Ireland now. I don't think any moving, or I don't know of course what the future will bring, but I don't plan on any more moving in the near future. I think that now is a good time for me to start working on my weight loss again. We're officially back. I haven't filmed in over a month, and as you can see with the microphone and everything and the new locations, I'm trying to figure out my filming. Alright, so let's talk about this challenge and what it's going to entail. So I don't really have a name for it, not like with 66 Transform. I didn't think that that was necessary or important really. It's just going to be a summer challenge because the duration of the challenge is going to be 3 months, June, July and August. And the goal is to lose 10 kilograms within those 3 months. That's it. When it comes to the rules, there won't be any rules as such. It's not like with 66 Transform where I had a list of I think 6 or 7 rules. I decided to get rid of all the bells and whistles, if you will. I also want to keep it super simple this time around because my routine is a little bit different this time around. Before, when I did the 66 Transform challenge, I was between jobs and I lived in another country and my routine looked completely different. Now I have a 9 to 5, which is a big chunk of my day. My whole entire schedule has to change because of that. So I wanted to uncomplicate it as much as I can in order to increase my chances of actually doing it successfully and reaching my goal without overwhelming myself. So there's really gonna be just 2 rules, if you want to call them that. I'm not really calling them rules. These are just the 2 things that I will have to actively be doing in order to lose the 10 kg in 3 months. And that's one, eating in calorie deficit. That's the most important one. So that obviously entails tracking calories daily. And the second one is exercising every day or on most days. I want to keep the same structure going of 6 days per week with 1 day rest day. But then those 6 days per week are going to look a little bit different. As an incentive, an additional layer of motivation that I want to add to this whole challenge and experience is I actually decided to book myself a professional photo shoot for the end of August so that I know as I'm going through this challenge that this is something that I also have to prep for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to book that photo shoot right now at the very beginning so that that date is in my calendar. I know it's definitely happening. Deposit paid. I will keep you updated on that. So this is very straightforward and something that I talked about in my previous videos. All I do literally is I go online every 3 to 4 months because as the weight changes, the calories need to be adjusted and the calorie deficit will change. So literally all I do is I go online and I search calorie calculator. There is not one tool that I prefer. They're all very similar. And literally all it asks you to do is, I believe, enter your age, your weight, your current most up-to-date weight, and that's important. And I believe your height. It gives you a bunch of information. It gives you your maintenance, which is one of the most important numbers. And then depending on your goal, it gives you surplus or a deficit. For me, when I sat down to calculate the calorie deficit that I will have to be in to lose 10 kilograms in 3 months, it turned out that I would need to go into a slightly more extreme deficit, closer to 1 kilogram per week, which I wasn't super thrilled about, but I knew that it will have to be a slightly more intense challenge, obviously, because again, it took me 7 months before to lose 10 kilograms, so I knew that it will have to be a little bit more sped up. I just didn't realize that it would have to be 1 kilogram per week. I will give it a try, and obviously I will report back on how that's going. I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm not sure how that's gonna work, I want to be in maintenance for the week prior to my period. just because I've noticed in the past that this is the week where I tend to overeat the most, obviously because I have cravings. Sometimes I can control them, sometimes I can't. And so I thought that maybe because the calorie deficit is on the more intense side this time, it would be nice to give myself that 1 week a month where I still can't indulge, obviously because I'm in maintenance. I can't go over my maintenance calories. I can't be having takeout every day, but I can have a little bit more and at least not gain weight, but to stay in maintenance for that 1 week. And then once the period is over, I go back into calorie deficit. And in theory, it kind of works in my head. It sounds really good, but we will see once again, because I don't know how good I will be at remembering to do that, to adjust my calories a week before, you know what I mean? So we will see. So now that I'm back in Ireland, my fitness routine, my fitness plan is going to change a little bit, mainly because I want to get back into dancing. I really want to dive into it again and start doing it more often. So that means that although I would really like to keep my 6-day per week gym routine going, realistically, I don't think that that's going to be possible. Also, I decided to do something entirely new and I decided to sign up for a handstand class. I'm getting ready to go to a handstand class with my friend. I am a little bit nervous. I think it's gonna be a shit show, but we will see. I'm taking you with me because you can't miss this entertainment. Let's go. And so all of these things obviously combined, it's going to be too much for me in a single week. So I will have to cut some days in the gym. I'm still not 100% sure exactly how my week is going to look like with all of these things, but I am actively working on my schedule to figure out how to do all of these things. Have time for it, have energy for it, make sure that I have recovery time. Obviously, that's crucial. There's also going to be a lot of trial and error, I'm guessing, and so through that, hopefully I will develop a really solid plan, a routine for myself. I'm whispering because it's early in the morning and everyone in the house is still asleep. I have a little ASMR circumference session here right now. I'm not gonna be really talking. I'm just gonna be calling out the numbers. Let's do this. 36, 35 and a half, but I'll go with 36. Well, 35 and a half. Left arm is 39, left arm is 38 and a half. 106 and a half. The waist is 87, it's 117 and a half. 69 and a half, 70. I'm almost a week into this challenge and I still don't have any trackers, so let's change that today. I use only 2 types of tracking. One is on my phone, and if you watched my previous videos, you know that I use my FitnessPal to track all of my food and my calories. So this is what I will continue using for this challenge as well. And the second thing that I use is even simpler. It's just Google Sheets, and I have a table where I just put in my measurements. This is my stuff for the previous challenges. This is how I tracked it before. What I'm gonna do is what I've done in the past in every other challenge is I'm gonna take my measurements, my circumference just at the beginning. As you see, I already have it here, and at the very end. And I'm going to check my weight every single day. I started this challenge on the 12th of May. Is that true? That is not true. I started this challenge on the 19th, but I took these measurements on the 12th. Whoopsie daisy. On the 31st of August is going to be our end date, and here we will take all the measurements again, or I will. You will just watch me do it. And that's pretty much everything that I'm going to track and how I'm going to track it. As you can see, very simple. Literally all I have to do is every day, first thing in the morning, I'm stepping on the scale, putting the number in here, and then tracking my food. And that's all I'm tracking. That's literally all I need for this. Nothing else. Undercomplicate. When I overcomplicate, I tend not to stick with it. So this is what I'm doing, undercomplicating. I am very excited about the next 3 months and I'm curious to see how it's going to go. I have a lot of new things that I want to try, a lot of new things that I want to do. So we will see how all of that is going to go. But for now, this is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, please leave a like. Subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber. I would really appreciate it. But most importantly, come back next week for a new video. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.